All right, Coach. First off, congratulations. Second off, you had told me, I think last week, that you guys have changed the way you've approached the state meet to score points. You did enough of that this weekend. What are the thoughts?
It just amazing. The girls did everything. It's all the glory goes to them. They're the ones doing that. I'm just cheering on. Like I said before, it was always, what can we get to state? That was my first 2 years. Let's build a culture. What can we get to state? What can we get to state? And they've bought in. We've got girls that have bought in. They've done their job, and it finally worked out where we went from what can we get to let's score points. And that started last year with what can we score points in, and then this year we build off that. They did a great job. We had some big points scored on day 2 with the D-Med. It came out of the first heat and scored really well for us. We didn't know what that would do out of that first heat, and they showed up and did their job. That was the highlight of day 2 for me, and along with the runner-up in 4x2. And then 4x8 doing their job and scoring points in day 1, getting those first points out of the way. They did really well.
Last year was exciting in the sense that a lot of events made the finals, but then you looked at the team scoring and it was like, kind of down towards the bottom of the list. How did that motivate you?
Hey, the thing was we were just inexperienced. We hadn't made finals in a single thing in my career before last year, and getting that experience is what made today happen. We ran lights out the first 2 days last year, and then we get to day 3 and we are just mentally and physically tired. And they knew that this year, so they prepared. We changed up a little bit how we worked out the season, what we did, all that stuff, and they bought in, and it showed today. It did.
Talk about relays. Obviously relays, you knew, maybe to a man, everybody knew that relays would be big at state, and they sure were.
Yeah, especially for us. I mean, when we qualify 5 relays, they're going to be a main part of it for us. And we thought we could score in every single one, and we did. And that helped us get to that 40 points.
The 4x4, how big was that?
Huge. Beyond big. I couldn't even say how big it is. They did such a great job in that. I knew after the prelims that we had a shot. I knew that. I knew during the season if everybody ran what they could, we'd have a shot. And they showed up on that final race. They did that. And I didn't know what would happen because we had 2 girls who were completely fresh, and we had 2 girls who ran the 4x1 10 minutes before. And they showed up and they were ready to go, and they got that done.
Take us through your thoughts, just leg by leg on that relay and your range of emotions, maybe from, hey, we could do this to, hey, we're going to do this.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Ellie Henderson ran her fastest time in the 4 this season. She started off right at 60 flat for us. That's what I was hoping she'd go 61, and she did one better for me. She started out at 60. Macy Woods has been a part of this team from last year. She was on that 4x4 last year that made finals, and she showed up and she ran a great time to continue leading in that race. By that time, I thought we had a shot. It all depended on our third leg. Our third leg was Lydia Erickson. She's our 200 qualifier. She was our anchor in the 4x2. I knew that she would show up, and she did. She did a great job. She got us a huge lead in that. And by that time, I was thinking in my mind, we might have this thing. We might. But back in my mind, I'm also thinking that some of those anchors are sub-60 anchors for the other teams. Nashville Plainfield has a really good anchor, and I thought we needed a really big lead, and we did. And our only senior on the team, the only senior I've had all year, the girl that has been around all year for us, Izzy Blumel, she's been that staple in the team that's kept everybody together. She brought it home, and I'm so glad for her final race that she's in.
Yep, and so now you have a whole bunch of girls coming back with all that experience, state placement experience. Got to feel really good going into off season.
Hey, and you know what? Yeah, it's always in the back of your mind what can happen next year. But I'm going to take some time just to think about how great this is and what they've accomplished. So before I even think about next year, I'm just happy with what they accomplished.
I know you touched on it earlier about just before when you started, the goal was to have an event where we get to state. Can you just maybe speak in more detail about the long-range upward trajectory of this program?
I mean, my very first year, I don't want to say anything wrong, but I think it had been a few years before we even had a state event. So that very first year, my goal was get a state event. And what we did was, I made a girl who thought she was a 100 hurdler into an 800 runner just so we could get a 4x8 in the state. And she accepted that, and she was one of the first ones that bought in because she knew that she could get to state on that. And that first year, we got lucky. We got in on times on 3 events, and that kind of started that ball rolling for us. It took a couple more years. 4x8, we got a couple more times, and then 3 years ago, we had a pretty good run, and we had a few people here, and then 4 years ago, but 3 years ago, then the season gets canceled. And so you're always concerned on how that hiccup's going to be on that. And last year, they showed out. We were ready to go. We had some really, really good young talent from middle school, and they did their job. And then it all leads up to this. I mean, it's baby steps that we had to take. Myself, Coach Conover, helped me, Coach Oliver. Our middle school program has taken off thanks to the Gordons and the Hausers. And we wouldn't be anywhere without those baby steps and everybody being a part of it. Without that, we don't have what we accomplished today.
The Rowdy Riverside faithful